Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about some of the mistakes I made and some of the changes I'll be making to my entire crypto process for the next 4-year cycle. So if you're not aware, the cryptocurrency market runs in 4-year cycles. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of the things I've learned, how you can maximize your profits in the next cycle, basically when you're going to be selling, when you're going to be buying, not exactly what prices. I will have an estimate for prices, but more what time frames you're going to be buying and selling. If I knew everything I knew right now, I think I could have doubled or tripled or quadrupled my profits this cycle. Obviously, hindsight is 2020, but I learned a lot. Again, I've been in cryptocurrency since 2017. This is my third 4-year cycle, and I've learned a lot. Again, I'm always learning, as in everything. I've also been an engineer for almost 20 years, and every year I learn more and more about engineering. So over time, you should be learning, taking notes, and improving your processes going forward. So let's go. All right. So what is some of the biggest things? Now, the biggest mistakes that I have learned this cycle is when I started buying, when I started selling, and when I got in and out of altcoins. So this is basically the 4-year cycles in a nutshell. Let's talk about basically the timing of these. I've talked about this many times on the channel, so I'm going to be very quick on this. Basically, you have 4-year cycles that have to do with the Bitcoin halving cycles. On every red line here, basically the amount of Bitcoin that is created is halved. It also goes very well with the election cycles because these 4-year cycles end up very close to when elections are as well. And all of the money cycles and election cycles, they all kind of run together. So the creator of Bitcoin obviously knew this and timed this very well, and it works very well. Now, the biggest mistake I did this time is you can use things like risk metric if you want. You can see if you just add an indicator and you type in risk metric here, you can see Bitcoin risk metric, and this kind of gives you an idea of when you can sell and when you should be buying, right? So this is generally, I'll use something similar to this, but you can see here that if you bought and sold Bitcoin only using this risk metric, you would do quite well, right? So you can see here, if you are buying right here, you would have bought roughly at 3,000. And then if you waited, you could have bought a little bit more even here, which was about $5,000. And then it said, all right, it's time to sell up here. And you would have sold about $58,000. Now, it wasn't the exact top, but if you just want to take your emotions out of it, it is very easy to sell using metrics like this, right? Because it's very easy to be up here and say, all right, we're going to $1 million. I'm not going to sell anything. But if you have this metric that's telling you, all right, now is a good time to start selling. That doesn't mean sell all of it. That means, sell 10%, sell 20%. If it goes higher, sell a little bit more, etc. This is something I really messed up because I actually kind of had a signal right here in March of this year that I probably should have sold some. Now, you can use 0.8 on this specific metric. I think 0.2 and 0.8 is a good time to use it. And what you could have done is when it went back down here, you could have even bought more and then sold again in this market. Now, there's no guarantee that this is going to continue in the same exact manner forever, but for at least the last 4 cycles, it has been a very good indicator of roughly when you should be buying and when you should be selling. And it's kind of similar for all the other currencies as well, right? So when Bitcoin is very, very low, altcoins are very, very low as well. Now, another mistake that I've made basically every single cycle is I have been too heavy in altcoins for most of the cycle. And usually that just hurts your gains, right? So when you're down here, if you're purchasing mostly Bitcoin, then your price is going to basically be going up for most of the rest of the cycle. Now, if you're buying altcoins, there's huge swings, right? So yeah, if you bought altcoins at the very bottom, you don't care if it's going down because let's say you bought Solana, for example. Let's pick some big ones out here. So let's even look at Ethereum. Ethereum is probably the most well-known. And let's look at that, right? So yeah, if you were buying Ethereum for $1,200 in 2023, you didn't care that it came back down to $2,200, right? But if you look at your entire portfolio, if you had mostly Bitcoin, you were doing a lot better because Bitcoin, during this phase from, these couple months here, Ethereum's down 45%. But if we look at the same thing on Bitcoin, Bitcoin went only down, whatever, 30%. What did I just say this was? Yeah, almost 50%. So, right. So Bitcoin goes down 30%, but Ethereum goes down 50%. So if most of your portfolio is in Bitcoin, you'd be doing a lot better and it'd be a lot easier emotionally in these times. So, I basically ended up picking up a lot of altcoins because altcoins were doing very well. Let's look at the others market. So others market is basically all of the cryptocurrencies besides the top 10. Okay. So in March, we had a nice peak here. So this kind of piqued my interest. And when we pulled back to here, I was like, okay, I'm going to pick up a lot of altcoins. And I went very heavily into altcoins at this period here. And then the price just bled. So I'm like, all right, well, we're down. I might as well scrape up literally every dollar I own and continue to pumping into the market. I actually ended up selling my Mustang, one of my most prized possessions, for more cash just to pump more money into the markets at this time. Now, it ended up very well in my specific scenario because I ended up buying a lot of Solana, and Solana was like $120. So, I sold my Mustang and put most of that cash into the market right here. Like a true crypto degenerate, I sold basically everything I owned to get as much exposure as I could into this market. So, and then, it just bled and bled and bled and bled. And it was very hard emotionally for me. And I thought I should have learned my lesson because I have been in these markets for a very long time. And kind of the same thing happened in 2017. The biggest problem in 2017 is when I was first buying coins is I never sold any near the top. I never took any profits. Back then I didn't know that we basically had these 4-year cycles. And I mean, look at how predictable they are, right? So 358 days of bear market, 375 days of bear market. What's the next one going to be? I don't know, probably somewhere between 360, 370, maybe 380, who knows? So you can kind of estimate where the tops and bottoms are going to be. It's not going to follow this forever for sure, because if crypto actually gets full adoption, I think you'll see something like an S curve where the price is coming, over like this. Let me just draw it instead of trying to, so the price is maybe coming something like this, and then eventually the price is going to go like this. They call that an S curve. You can see like that, and this inflection point right here, this, magical point I'm talking about is like the full adoption point. Now, this is mostly Bitcoin because Bitcoin has a fixed supply. A lot of other altcoins do not have a fixed supply, but for Bitcoin, we might see something like this, right? Where, this is kind of where we're at. The returns are getting lower and lower. And then eventually maybe they're going to turn around and maybe we won't have these bear markets anymore, right? Because eventually there's not going to be really that much printing of Bitcoin, for, the halvings and all of that. There's not going to be as much Bitcoin coming out of the market. Eventually we will hit the 21 million cap, and it's even going to be way smaller than 21 million because so many people have lost coins and all of that. But anyways, just wanted to talk about that because eventually I don't think this is going to work as well as it will. I still think we have at least another 4-year cycle before we get full on adoption. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, no one can tell the future, and we'll see what happens there. But I guess one of my biggest lessons learned from this cycle was, again, going way too altcoin heavy and just losing a lot of my profits, or not even losing them because I haven't, sold at a loss, but basically just riding your total portfolio value down and down and down through these times, right? So, we started out here and I basically just wasn't active when I should have been, right? So if we zoom out a little bit more again, I should have been more active in these times. It's easy to get caught up in the hype, and, I saw the price going up. I already had a lot of crypto, to be fair. So, I've held a lot of my crypto from 2017 and previous cycles. So I had a lot of my crypto already, but I put a lot of money in the market here at this time, which I really should have been putting all my money into the market here and then just relaxing and watching the price go up. Now, obviously that's easy to say, but in the very first cycle, for example, I bought my very first Bitcoin at $14,000, not a whole Bitcoin, but some of a Bitcoin at $14,000, right? And then the price went up. I bought a bunch more in here, and then the price went down, and I said, well, I'm not going to sell at a loss. It'll go back up. And then I just rode it all the way down and down and down. And I had a bunch of cash right here at 3,200 and I almost bought 10 Bitcoin. No joke. I had a lot of money. I was living in China at the time, working as an engineer, making a really high salary. I had a bunch of cash to burn, and I wanted to put it in investments because I wanted to secure my future. I didn't want to just blow it on trips and stuff like that. So I almost bought it, but I was too scared because, at this point I'm down 80% on my initial Bitcoin investment. And I didn't know if Bitcoin was going to go to zero or not. But now we have so much proof that Bitcoin is going to be here for the long term. You'll see a lot of FUD, through the cycles you've seen, China is making crypto illegal. It's going to go to zero. Then you had the FTX stuff where that crashed and everyone lost their money. And I had a bunch of mining contracts with I think it was Hashflare. And they basically liquidated all of my contracts. I had like $10,000 in mining contracts. They just deleted all of them. It was in the terms of service, and they can basically just get rid of it whenever they want. So I lost all that money, never got a single penny from any of that. I was trading on one broker, and they took all of my money, all of my Bitcoin, the US government, and they never gave it back to me. They gave it back to me, but I had shorts open and they just ticked down to zero. So I lost everything because they froze funds and I wasn't able to withdraw. So I lost a lot of money in this first market. So it kind of put me off to cryptocurrency. I did hold all of my stuff. Thankfully, I didn't sell at a loss. I could have, a lot of other people might, when they came down here, they're like, all right, it's going to zero. I'm going to sell everything. You need to have the opposite mentality. You need to be thinking the opposite. When people are scared, you better be buying. When people are super euphoric and saying Bitcoin is going to $10 million, maybe that's time to sell. So those are kind of my biggest lessons learned in these cycles, is kind of just trust the process, right? So if I go back to this one, this nice little graph we got here, we'll get this risk metric a little bit smaller here and we'll kind of zoom in here. But your goal is to be selling high and buying low. I know it sounds stupid, but here you go. If I were to tell you right now that I think the top is going to be somewhere between, let's say that it follows the 4-year schedule perfectly to the T. That means that somewhere around October of next year, we'll have the top of cryptocurrency, right? So you're going to be wanting to sell next year, right? Now, you don't have to sell all of it. I will keep some of my Bitcoin through these bear markets. I think I'll keep, right now, I think I have about 0.8 Bitcoin. I think I'll keep about 0.5, maybe 0.25, depending on how high the price goes. And I will basically be selling a lot of I will definitely be selling all of my altcoins. In my personal opinion, do not hold altcoins in bear markets. They perform extremely poorly. Basically, most of them will go down 99.99%. Your entire value will basically go to zero. So I would not ever recommend holding altcoins. If you want to hold anything, roll all your profits into Bitcoin and then hold your Bitcoin. That is really the only viable option in my mind. Otherwise, just roll it into US dollars, hold your US dollars until you get back into this bear market and rebuy your stuff. Now, can you just buy and hold the whole time? Yeah, of course you can. Even if you buy the top, if you wait roughly 4 years, you're going to be in the profits, right? So in my personal opinion, if you want to do the extreme lazy way, just wait till the price is really dead. If you're not in the market, buy right now before 100K, but you will most likely be in a loss for some time, right? So if you buy right now at 100K, you're probably going to be in a loss in the bear market. Now, here's what I predict just based on, just based on logarithmic charts here and what we've seen in the past. I am banking on the price going to about 220K. And pulling back to, I don't think it's going to get down to this 50K because historically after elections, it never goes below that. So I think the bottom is going to be about 68K. So if you want to plan and hold for a very long time, you can also just hold your cash until 2026, about October, and you can purchase in here. Now, again, as I said, I'm going to plan on taking a lot of my profits about October next year, or maybe even earlier. We could have an early cycle. It could end, March, April. Who knows? We'll see. But basically, you can use those risk metrics I'm talking about. And if you subscribe to this channel, I will tell you when I'm selling. There's a lot of metrics that I look at. There's a bunch of risk curves that I use. You can use things like social media and just, overall people's opinions on the markets and what's happening. There's a lot of different top signals you can use. There's a bunch of different moving averages you can look at. And when those moving averages cross, you're going to know that the top is in. I have a video on finding the top, a couple different methods. Now there's a bunch more than that. There's just a couple of my favorite ones. I'll put that video up there for you guys. But yeah, so this is my biggest lessons learned that I have learned over the last 8, 10, 12 years in cryptocurrency. 2017, I don't want to do that math real quick in my head. I'm not good at quick math. Anyways, so this is my plan. This is a lot of the lessons I've learned. So basically, TLDR of everything I said today is I will plan on selling most of my cryptocurrency near the top. When I think the top is going to happen, I'm going to be very closely watching a bunch of different indicators to tell me when the top is in, and then I'll be selling most of my cryptocurrency. I might keep a little Bitcoin for these bear markets, and then I'm going to pay off my debt personally. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay down my house, and that'll give me more cash flow so that once we get into this bear market, I'll have a lot of cash flow to just be picking up as many cryptocurrencies as I can at a very, very, very big discount. And then I will be riding the cycle up and repeating the whole thing and coming back up here and trying to do this every 4 years for as long as this happens, And I'm going to try to accumulate a lot of cryptocurrency in the next cycle. Every time I go through these cycles, I become more of a Bitcoin maximalist for sure. Every single cycle I go through, I end up holding more Bitcoin and less altcoins every time, because altcoins, while they will give you the biggest gains, they will also give you the biggest losses. So they're just much more risky. It's hard on your emotional state, etc. So that's kind of what I'll be doing here. And then I'll be trying to pick up everything I can here. I'll be doing the same thing in my Roth IRA. So I'll do this in my exchanges like Coinbase and Bitunix. I will even do a little bit of trading. I like to hold most of everything I do in spot. So, 95, 99% of my portfolio is in spot. And then I do have some, leverage trading that I like doing. I look at leverage trading kind of just more for fun. It's enjoyable to me. It's kind of like a video game where, it's almost like a mix between gambling and video games, where you can, get a lot of adrenaline and dopamine by having these great trades, but it's also very emotional when you're down a lot. But anyways, so this is what I am doing, and this is what I will continue to do. If you do want to leverage trade, I have affiliate links below for Bitunix and BTCC. They are both legal in America, and they're both great exchanges. You can buy a bunch of spot. I talk about a lot of altcoins on this channel as well, especially small ones, and I get all of those on Bitunix. This is probably my favorite exchange right now. I use Coinbase for a majority of my big holdings, and then I use Bitunix for a lot of basically all my leverage trading and a lot of my small meme coins and small altcoins and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of them in here. You can see I have a bunch of holdings. TARS AI is the one I've been buying the most, but feel free to use my affiliate link below, and I really appreciate the support on the channel. You guys have been great. My views have been going up a lot. I've been getting a lot of subscribers in the channel. I really appreciate everyone, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas if you're celebrating, and it is Christmas Eve today, so I think I might make a video tomorrow, maybe not, we'll see. I don't know what happens. I have the week off from work, so we'll see here, but yeah, I've been really enjoying creating content on this financial channel. I have had a huge passion for investing for a very long time. And, I didn't think I was quite, qualified enough to make YouTube videos and have people actually watch them. But, a lot of people are watching the videos, and I'm really thankful for that. I really have a passion for this. I'm not a financial advisor, but I have been a long time investor, engineer, and just have been spending a lot of my time trying to get my money to work for me instead of me working for my money. So that's, I think, the big difference between people who are rich and people who are poor. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. Feel free to use my links below to sign up for any exchanges. I have one for Coinbase, I have one for Bitunix, BTCC, TradingView, all of that. Feel free to use my links below and leave a comment if you guys are enjoying the video. If you want to join my Discord, feel free to do that. If you want to follow me on X, feel free to do that as well. I've been posting a lot on X, so if you want to Dan Heilman 3 is my tag. I talk about a lot of things. Mostly I just repost fun things, but I have some informational posts too where I talk about what I like to do in terms of investing, max my employer match first and then go into my Roth IRA and then extra cash into some bear markets. This kind of relates to what I was talking about today, but I do post a lot. I got 400 followers now. I do post a lot on Twitter, so feel free to follow me there. And if you want to join Discord, I do talk a lot in Discord and on Twitter, X, sorry. If you want to suggest any videos, you can join my Discord, for example. You can put videos in here and, I'll make whatever video you guys want as long as it's related to what I talk about on the channel. And that's it for the video. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Have a great day, everyone, and happy holidays. So that's it. Have a great day. See you guys.